critically examine Robert Frost as a nature poet with reference to his poems, Once by the Pacific, West Running Brook, and Out. Answer. Nature has always been a major theme in Robert Frost's poetry. But surprisingly, Frost said over and over, "I am not a nature poet." Frost, in fact, uses nature most often as a background. He usually begins a poem with an observation of something in nature and then moves towards a connection to some human situation or concern. Frost often sees nature as an alien force capable of destroying man, and sometimes sees man's struggle with nature as a heroic battle. One of Frost's best lyrics, Once by the Pacific, attempts to describe the distinctive rage of the ocean against all of mankind. The ocean waves have palpable consciousness that is concerned only with the destruction of anything they can touch. However, the poem does end on a rather positive note. The poet expresses his complete faith in God's benevolence. No matter how mighty the storm may be, it is finally the will of God that will save the world. Frost's facts are correct, especially in botanical and biological terms. But he never tries to tell nature stories or animals' stories. He always uses these metaphorically, implying an analogy to some human concern. His poem, West Running Brook, is a perfect paradigm in this context. It has serious philosophical undertones presented in the manner of a playful argument. The basic argument in the poem is about how the West Running Brook came to be called so. Beginning in a conversational tone, as his poems usually do, the poem quickly establishes the apparently different views of the man and his wife. It develops the paradox of the brook moving west unlike the other brooks in the country. The wife finds this contrariness reflected in their own conjugal life. The metaphysical term of the poem becomes clear as human existence is linked up with the brook by the woman. Her fanciful and imitative thoughts are, however, not shared by her husband. The latter's interpretation of the brooks flowing in the opposite direction is here philosophical. Nature is presented in a slightly different light in the poem, Out. The beauty of the mountain ranges of Vermont or the sweet smell in the air is described almost in passing. We can see the accident that befalls the young boy as a nature's way of taking revenge against humanity for its wanton destruction of trees. Frost ends the poem as he usually does with a bit of aphoristic wisdom. He points out that despite the tragedies that may befall man, life must continue and cannot come to an end. Frost does not seek in nature either a sense of oneness with all created things or union with God. There is nothing Platonic in his view of life. Frost believes that man should live in harmony and nobody should go against nature or natural process. Because of the time in New England, the majority of pastoral scenes that he describes are inspired by specific locations in New England. However, Frost does not limit himself to stereotypical pastoral scenes such as sheep and shepherds. Instead, he focuses on the dramatic struggles that occur within the natural world. Frost also presents the natural world as one that inspires deep metaphysical thoughts in the individuals who are exposed to it, as in Birches and The Sound of the Trees. Since art mirrors reality, Frost synthesizes the human and the natural through language, imagination, and metaphor. In On Frost's Realistic Technique, critic Amy Lowell opines that Frost's poetry is photographic, that it captures characters and landscape, freezes them, burns them into memory, and again binds by what he has seen. In his personal life, Frost always loved the simple joys of farming and being in touch with the earth. In his poetry, he sees nature as beautiful and full of hope, yet also random and chaotic. He appears neither a transcendentalist nor a pantheist. Therefore, his use of nature is the single most misunderstood element of his poetry. Finished. Please subscribe to the channel for more updates of ready-made notes on English literature. Also, Please share this channel to help any student pursue a degree in English literature. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please do not forget to like and comment.